Why is the whole crypto market crashing, and is there anything that can be done to save us from a potentially disastrous bear market? In today's episode, we're going to look at what's happening in Bitcoin, which is obviously controlling the entire crypto market at the moment, and try and understand what is really going on, as well as to see whether there's going to be any likely support that's going to hold us in the game for cryptocurrency. What I want to draw your attention to, guys, back on the 12th of March, 2020, we had this dip all the way down to $3,800, and it previously was sat around $9,000 just a few days before. So what was it that caused this dip? Obviously 2020, or the early 2020 was when coronavirus started to spread throughout the entire world, and that had a huge impact on the entire market. And I don't mean just cryptocurrency market. What I mean is the stock exchange, all uncertainty like that. Okay, so what happens when you get uncertainty is people will withdraw their money for the fear of what might be to come. So we get this big dip. But what I want to draw your attention to, guys, ultimately the chart shows us emotions, and the two emotions that really run this chart is fear and greed. Okay, so at the moment we've got a lot of fear entering the market because we're in a downtrend. So we don't have so many people actively buying crypto. We've got more people actively selling it, which pushes the prices lower. But ultimately, if we want to work out when we want to buy, we actually don't want to be buying when we get the greed entering the market. We want to be buying into fear, because we should really do the opposite of what everyone else is feeling, because ultimately that's where you're going to be successful in crypto. If we look across at the right, we can see all of these cryptos are absolutely being punished. The only one that we can see really coming up is Bitcoin dominance, and that's because Bitcoin has a huge market cap compared to pretty much all the other altcoins. So obviously as Bitcoin falls, everything else is going to fall more aggressively against it. And you can see, guys, we are spiking towards the upside in the Bitcoin dominance. So if you're in the altcoins as well, they're all going to continue to bleed down until Bitcoin basically sort of rights its wrongs. Obviously, there's other cryptos which aren't quite correlated to Bitcoin. Obviously, as well, we've now got a lot of news entering the market. The Bloomberg, CNNs, etc. of this world are talking about the shine being off Bitcoin. And the last time I saw news like this was actually before we had a big pump. Bitcoin's obviously up 700% in the last year or so, but it's obviously going to take a bit of time to retrace and to recover a bit more. So as we see more and more news entering the market like this, actually we want to be paying attention to what it's really doing to the mass psychology, and it's going to create more and more fear in the market. That's why we would potentially be looking to buy fear. Now obviously this is not financial advice. This is just a strategy that I use and something I look at when I see a lot of fear in the market, because ultimately that's when I've been quite successful in crypto. Now, we had the Omicron breakout earlier in December, and that has caused more uncertainty and doubt to enter the market, which has caused more selling, etc. But every time we have a pump, we have a dump, and every time we have a dump, we have a pump. So if we're looking at this as being a dump right now, where can Bitcoin realistically go from here? And ultimately, where can it drag the rest of the cryptocurrency market with it? So what I want to draw your attention to, guys, this is on the 4-hour chart. Now, we did have this high back on the 17th of April, which was previously the all-time high. And then ultimately we put in this sort of lower high before being able to break through it around the 7th of October, pushing all the way up to this new high. Now drawing a line through here, we can see previous lines of resistance, which was here and here, ultimately then get flipped into support, which is here, and literally as we speak right now. Now obviously the more lines of support, etc., that we can find, we can then draw another line through here where we've had multiple touch points, and then again we've had previous resistance becomes support. Okay, so we're now sitting on the apex of literally both of these lines right now. We can use the Fibonacci tool from this swing low all the way up to the previous swing high, and when we have a retracement we come back, and more often than not we hit the 0.618. As you can see, we have broken through the 0.618. Previously, we wicked down below the 0.618 and we bounced back aggressively. The area between the 0.786 and the 0.618 is clearly a support zone for Bitcoin, and ultimately Bitcoin supports the entire crypto market. So what is happening right now is very interesting indeed, because literally right this second, guys, we are sat on these two lines of support, and ultimately we are looking to maintain this support, because realistically if we are unable to maintain support here, guys, we are going to come down to at least 37,900, which doesn't necessarily mean we're going to fall off the face of the earth, but we are going to be probably due a bit more of a cool-off action for an extended amount of time. Now obviously as the price gets lower, less retailers, etc., get interested, but the big money, etc., are obviously paying attention, and they're looking to pay reduced cost. Okay, so this is all a game of emotions, guys. If you look at what Warren Buffett said, greedy when others are fearful and be fearful when others are greedy. Look at the sentiment across the market. A lot of people are feeling very scared. Fair enough. as we see a dip further down, potentially there's an opportunity to be able to buy Bitcoin at a discounted rate. Whereas a couple of months ago, people were paying nearly $70,000 for a Bitcoin. They can now pick one up at the cheap old cost of $42,000, and people are aware of that being a lower cost. But right now, if we look down towards the RSI, we can see that we are heavily oversold, which means that we would be more than likely due to have a bit of a push towards the upside. Realistically, we need to break back through the 618, and then we could be pushing back towards higher levels. Maybe it could potentially be the last cool-off period before the push towards the upside. Now, let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. Every time I see a lot of fear and people telling me I'm completely wrong when I say it's going to potentially turn around, then for me that's a pretty good indicator that it probably is going to turn around. So let me know down in the comments what you think is happening with Bitcoin and crypto. Let me know what altcoins you are going to be buying and building your bags up at this level, because this is when you want to get excited, guys. Not buying the big green candles at the top, but buying the big red ones when they fall down towards the downside, because that's where you can really make some money. Hope you've enjoyed today's slightly different video on market psychology. Please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, helps me more than you know. And if you're new to the channel, then subscribe for daily updates on crypto. Thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye.